Hey guys, welcome back, and yes, it is another interview, and this time for a private event with some of the best, if not the best players on EU. It's Clash of the Boys, the event I'm talking about, and the winner, it's no surprise, one of my good friends and a consistent player when he wants to actually play tournaments, Bratchedkata. How are you doing, Kata?
Hey, I'm doing fine. It's a pleasure to be here once again.
And we hope to have you here once again. I mean, I want you for the fourth time, just because you're such a talented player that if you play more plays consistently, can top tournaments. So let's
Yeah.
not talk about gibberish anymore. And Clash of the Boys, can you tell us a bit about the format and the road that you took in order to win it all?
The format was quite simple. We were spread it in two groups of 8 players each. We played 3 rounds of Swiss, and all the 3-0 and 2-1 players qualified for the top cut, which would be 8 out of the 16 players in total. And the top cut would be basically a fight night format, but like still not like two decks
You're
and
right,
like
Lock.
yeah, it's still right lock, but in the bracket is like with losers bracket, winners bracket. Then at the grand final, the loser can have like has to be the grand winner twice. Like you get me. That sort of fight night format.
Yeah, that's
Um,
Champions League type of thing.
yeah. And yeah, I chose to bring Plunder and Lee, which I think are two of the best decks currently. I wasn't really sure about Shen Jarvan, but I wanted to try it out, and yeah, I went undefeated, so yay.
You even got, I think,
Seems
the
good.
mirror matchups in the final with both Shen Jarvan and Lee against Shen Jarvan and Lee.
Bro, I feel for Lord Von. I just nutted on him so many times. It's insane. I played him 3 times in total too. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but I think you had smooth sailing. Like you won everything you could, even in the finals. There wasn't a bracket. You said you went straight for the finish line.
Yeah, I believe throughout the whole tournament, I think I just dropped only one game.
That's insane, especially with so many quality players. That's insane.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see the decks that actually brought you the victory. First of all, yes, I will refuse to call this deck Lee Sin Zoe combo. This is Eye of the Dragon combo through and through.
Oh, yeah, Eye of the Dragon is my third champion in the deck, obviously. Uh, it's just insanely powerful against aggro and just for stalling. Uh, through gifts, draws you a card too, which is, I mean, draws it and puts it on the board, which is fucking insane. Like, amazing value.
And
And yeah, you just gotta love this deck.
you are playing one of the Mentor of the Stones. I've seen some people try it out. What's the reason for putting one of Mentor of the Stones? What are the matchups in which it is good?
Control basically, and sometimes actually against aggro it's fine too because of the gems which can trigger eye more efficiently.
And did you actually get to
So
play against any control lineup or any control deck that you targeted with this Mentor of the Stones, or was it something that you did not expect?
honestly, I don't remember if I ever played mentor in that tournament.
It's a one-off. It makes sense sometimes to
Yeah,
not draw it. It's
if it
there.
if it was like a very expensive spell, I would remember it, but for a unit like mentor, I don't really.
Alright. I see people playing more and more Sonic Wave. I know for sure when people first started to play 1 or 2, it was in that TF Go hard meta in order to have better trades with TF, and they basically remove it because you do not have vengeances and that type of removal. So
Yeah.
what is Sonic Wave trying to remove in this meta?
Whatever I feel is the most threatening. Severe, Runner, Zed, Lulu, Jinx, Draven, Ezreal. Like, there's so many things Sonic Wave can easily remove through a Dragon Link. attack. Twin Disciplines also helps to accomplish that sometimes.
Yeah, and it's also
Yeah.
double procs for Lee. Not to mention that.
Yeah, and then it's double procs for Lee, for I. It's amazing.
And
It's
some
a very efficient spell. I like it.
I've seen some people dropping some Zenith Blades, maybe going to Zenith Blades because you now have a lot of gifts from beyond, and in some games you've got a lot of ice, so maybe you use the overwhelm from gifts from beyond. What's your take on the deck, and why did you get to free Zenith Blade?
Yeah, I just like Zenith Blade. I mean, it's that simple. I definitely see the point of going down to 2. I might try it out. Yeah, it's really not that bad to go to 2, but just to have it consistently drawn. Sometimes just using one on I just to make sure that it's safer. It's perfectly fine. Draws you a card again. Like you have to remember, Xenoplate is also a draw card, even though it's the same one. So yeah, it's still like some sort of cycle in the deck, and I like that a lot.
Alright, so you just want to dig deeper because sometimes, as I say on the casts, Finding Lee Sin is the movie that doesn't always end perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You are funny.
I've seen people actually experimenting with this deck a bit, going out of the way from the original shell. We've seen people that are playing, for example, Solari Priestess. We've seen people that even included Scattered Pod. So, did you experiment with those, or did you take them into consideration, or is the original version the best that you can get?
I believe Pod is trolling, pure trolling. I don't understand that. Swari Priestess is fine because it might be able to tutor your Lee. So I understand that. Also, you might get the Comet, which can remove a threat you don't really want to use Will or Palm on. So it's perfectly okay for Priestess. Maybe like 2 copies. I think that's fine. Pot, I don't understand pot. I don't see how that fits anywhere. Like, yeah, I just don't understand it.
Also, in the previous versions or the initial versions, we saw a lot of spell shield being played, and now we do not see the cards anymore that require spell shield. Why do you think it's that? Why do you think we do not see Bastion anymore?
Because frostbites don't really work that well against twin disciplines. So you're not actually afraid of your Lee being frostbited. Like you can still push through a decent amount of damage, like just chip it away one turn after another. Like they'll run out of resources at some point and then you win eventually. It's that simple. You
Okay,
really don't need Bastion.
so kind of the buff on the twin disciplines equalized the value that you can get from that because you do not get frost
Yeah,
even,
yeah.
and frostbite I think is for example Ash Nox is not present anymore. It's only one or two
No, it's like
frostbites.
Nivea, which is perfectly fine. Frostbite is here and there, you can see it, but it's not that efficient, I guess,
I
as a
guess
deck.
Sejuani, which is permanent frostbite every single turn if you hit Plunder.
Yeah, but yeah. Mainly for Plunder, and then again, Twin Disciplines makes it really fine there.
Yeah, totally. But I think Lee Sin is one of the most prevalent decks in the meta. Why do you think is that? Why is it so good against everything?
Because it beats everything. He has insane odds to beat everything, and it's just consistent. That's why I believe everyone should play it.
Mm, It's one of the last Hush decks, to be fair. No other decks play Hush, so what's the situation of Hush in this deck? Does it still find value, or is it a one or two of sometimes just to prevent bad situations happening?
It finds a lot of value. Hirsch is fine. Like, I think the main problem of Hirsch was to find another Targon deck to be played in, which would be consistent in the meta, but there is none. I think Zoe Lee is the best Argon deck. That's why Hush is fine. It's good for mirrors. It's good to prevent different elusives from attacking your face, big pokers, or like even just removing spell shield from Severe. That could just seal you the game against Ionia Shurima.
Yeah,
Hush is still a very good spell.
you said the deck basically beats everything, but does it have any hard matchup? In my opinion, even aggro got even better now that you're playing quote unquote six highs.
Ah, Ionia Shurima is the worst one. Like that region combination is definitely the worst matchup for Zoe Lee Sin. Everything else is pretty much aight. Uh, yeah, just play the game the way you should, and if you can pilot it perfectly enough, you win.
So are you telling me that in a lineup with Zoe Lee Sin, you might think about banning pink yellow?
Yeah,
The region combination that is everywhere basically.
it's what I mainly did in the Quash of the Boys. So yeah, I believe that's probably the best strategy. There's like too many decks with the Ionia Shurima. Like you can't consistently target or do anything with them. Irelia Azir, Action Severe, Z Severe, uh, Action Lee Sin, like there's too many.
Yeah, there's too many. I'm going to get to a similar question back in the future, but for now, let's move forward to the next deck, and that is Tempo Plunder. I think this version didn't see much change from last time that you played it. Am I right, or did you tweak something in it?
No, I didn't change anything. I think that's a perfect version of the deck, and I don't believe I'll change anything. Yeah, yeah,
It's the perfect version. That's some high praise
yeah.
for the deck.
I
Uh,
know, I know.
would you change anything if you would go in, for example, into the seasonal, or what would you take if you were to change anything?
Nothing. This is the perfect version. I won't change anything.
Not even tweak the Dreadaway slot?
No, the triple Dreadway is insane. Anyone not playing triple Dreadway is trolling.
Alright. Do you encounter any problems with the Legions? I think 6 cards that are from Legends shouldn't be a problem, but did you encounter any problems when you would want to proc a Legends, you didn't get it?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it is a problem when you actually need the warning shot or the extra card just to have card advantage. Yes, it is a problem. Sometimes it's not. Depends on how good you've managed the early game, but usually it really sucks. I had one time where I had 5 of my Freljord cards in hand and the Yordo, and I play it, and I don't proc, and I'm like, what the fuck? That was the most painful moment for me, but it shouldn't, like, it still procs about 85% of the time. So it's still very consistent, but when you don't, it's yikes usually.
Makes sense. Still one higher gun, still one of Monkey Idol. Did you think about increasing the ratios for any, or was the reason for increasing maybe the ratio for any of these cards?
A lot of players are playing like 2 of these cards, which makes sense. Hargan is kind of good into aggro and Mancaro is kind of good into control. But they're too clunky, I don't know. I don't really like them at 2 copies. As a one-offs, they're fine.
Did you encounter any
But
problems when you played them as a two-offs?
um, it just felt weird, I don't know. Like Macchiato is basically a landmark, and I didn't really feel the need to run 2 landmarks in my deck.
Alright.
I think one is fine. Hargan just doesn't do that much. There are better cards for the second Hargan spot, like Triple Crocker or Double Ice Shard. I like
I
them.
I
Or the
understand.
third Dreadway.
How about Zap Spray? Why does it still find value in the deck?
Uh, Draws you cards that proc Plunder. So good value.
Simple as that. Is there any
Yeah,
reason you would see it being cut, or was the reason that we see it being
no.
cut from from other people?
Actually, I think I've seen more people play triples up now rather than cutting sub. Sub is very good here.
Is that maybe an influence because at least on ladder we see a lot of severe action or a lot of severe Ionia decks, so they might want a blocker against the elusive?
True that too. It's a very good reason to do that as well. If you try to target the Ionia Shurima decks with Plunder, I think triples up is perfectly fine.
Again,
Very
the
reasonable.
same question as Lee Sin, because you seem to give high praise to the Plunder deck and might be one of the best decks, but what does it struggle actually against?
I think I struggled mostly against pirates. I don't know. I've played that matchup like 6 or 7 times. Like that's purely based on ladder, but I've never won the matchup for some reason. Like it might be just unfortunate draws or timing, but I didn't seem to ever win the matchup.
How
So
about
I think
Shurima Burn
pirates.
though? Did you get to play against Shurima Burn?
What's like Noxus Shurima
Yes.
with the 17-1 drop of
Yes.
Thomas. Oh, it wrecks that one. Like Plunder is usually very good against aggro. I find it surprisingly good against that specific Shurima Noxus and discard aggro, which would be probably two of the most popular aggro decks on in the seasonal. I don't know about spiders. Pirates kinda yucky. Um,
I guess we're going to see. But moving
yeah,
forward to actually the last deck, and this is coming out of nowhere, I think, in this meta. We see Shen Jarvan, Shen Fiora Jarvan, more and more. Why did you bring the deck, and why do you think it's picking up in popularity?
I wanted to try it out into the meta. Um, I also kind of wanted to see if it's good enough against aggro, but no one actually brought any reasonable aggro lineups besides Thomas, I think, and maybe Simon. Uh, and I never played against them, so yeah, Shen Jarvan was just an insanely good deck into the rest of the field, and it performed out of its mind. So yeah, mid range good against control and combo. Yeah, kind of game breaking.
Did you
It's
struggle
it's
against
powerful.
anything? Or does it struggle actually against anything?
I don't remember what my one lost was to. I don't even know if it was Shen Jarvan or Lee or Plunder. I don't remember what I lost to. I know I had one loss somewhere, but I can't even remember what from it was.
It makes sense with a tournament with so many games, but in general, what does Shen Jarvan struggle to, or Demacia Ionia in general, what does it struggle with?
Swarm, I would say.
So
Basically,
is that why we see people maybe taking in a Fiora or coming back to Fiora?
yeah, because Fiora can deal with Swarm really easy thanks to Indisciplines and Sharp Side. Like, those two cards are really good for Fiora. But I don't know, I still don't feel really great if I play Fiora instead of Jarvan. Jarvan still seems reasonable, and like if you get at least Fleet Feather with 1-2 drop and Laurent, you should be able to secure the early game somewhat easy. And then maybe just draw one Spirit Refugee to heal a few hit points, and you should be able to seal the game.
Let's make a quick breakdown. Why would people want to play Shen Jarvan? Why would people want to play in some Fioras in here, or maybe cut Jarvan completely and play Fiora?
Fiora is good against the swarmy aggro decks that Shen Jarvan usually struggles against. If you want to target something like spiders or any sort of burn, Aziri Relia too, Fiora is really great into them. Uh, Jarvan is more for control decks like Karma Ezreal, Anivia, any Viego decks, I would say too. Um, Basically that.
Alright, so we saw the lineup, we saw Zoe Lee, we saw Shen Jarvan, and we saw Plunder. So basically, what did we want to face? What did we feel comfortable facing?
I wanted to. My strategy was to just ban Ionia Shurima and just play against the rest of the field and see how it performs. And then I went undefeated, lost only one game throughout the tournament. Seemed like a good strategy. I think I'll just keep going with this.
Nice. And we are seeing these decks most and most in tournaments. So, what are your predictions, for example, for top three decks that are going to be represented in the seasonal? Because it's drawing ever closer. It's a few days and we are in the seasonal.
Action Severe Z. Two action, one Z, of course. Aziri Relia.
Don't
I'm
tell
not
me
sure.
Action Lee. Don't tell me
No, no,
Action
no, no.
Lee.
No, actually, definitely won't be there. I'm trying to think if there is another aggro deck that would be very popular now, but
Probably Lulu Zed is going to see some
ah,
play.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, lose that. Yeah, Ionia Shurima and Broken Demacia. Yeah, of course.
Broken Demacia. Why do you think it's getting so much traction? I know Sim did a video about it, but it can't be good only because
Well,
Sim said it is.
that's the first reason because he made the fucking deck. And when he decides to actually try and make good decks into the game, that's what happens. It's fucking ridiculous. No one likes it. Uh, I don't know why he did that.
Well, we're going to find out in this next
But
seasonal.
yeah, that deck is very oppressive. It loses to Plunder, sometimes to Shen Jarvan. It's really good into Lee, actually. So you can try and target Lee with that deck, definitely. I'm trying to think of more matchups for it, but I'm not really sure because I haven't really played any other decks beside those three. It's kind of good into Ionia Shurima, but like with Severe, not Irelia Azir, I think. I'm
Mhm.
not sure about Irelia Azir matchup.
I think
But yeah,
even
you can
against
target.
Irelia Azir might be good because you
Yes,
still swarm
Ionia.
them and Irelia Azir still struggles to block.
Yeah. Honestly, it should be decent. You're on 5 rallies. Yeah, they'll be that until turn 5, probably.
Basically against Irelia Azir, they say every turn is my attack turn, you come up with 5 rallies and yeah, mine too.
Yep.
Alright. But now the tournament is done, you won it, and what can we expect out from you in the future tournaments? Or are you going to participate in any future tournaments? What can we expect from you in the seasonal? What are your goals?
Um, Goals. Make top 4 of the seasonal. Hopefully hit at least about rank 10 on ladder. And just continue to perform insanely well into tournaments. Like if there is a big tournament, I'll probably participate into it and I'll try to figure out the best strategy. And yeah, I'll make sure you see me then.
Awesome. And since this tournament was quite big in terms of the players that were in, did you prepare with someone with the tournaments? Did you test the lineup or was this a first try?
Mm, well, the lead deck, me and Katasos mainly were trying it out, and we figured that's probably sort of the best version for it. At least that appealed to us. Um, Plunder is my specialty mainly. I climbed to like rank 6 with this deck from like I think 200 LP. Like it was an insane. Uh, yeah, I just like the deck a lot. I learned pretty much all the matchups. I feel confident playing that deck. Shen Jarvan was what Katasos used to climb the ladder to rank 8. So I was like, yeah, I'll just yoink that deck, try it out a few times, and if I like it, maybe use it in a tournament.
When I saw
So
Demacia Ionia to be fair, I thought it is past hand there.
no. I
Oh,
haven't heard. a lot of PES recently. I don't know where he's gone, honestly. I think he's kind of on a break.
And he's gonna probably come
Actually,
back
yeah,
and
I think
win.
he's in Germany, actually. Yeah, on a vacation or something like that.
We are going to see, but you know, it's the end of the interview, and we have the traditional question. If you have one thing to say to the people, which one is that?
Never surrender, boys. You
Never
can always
surrender.
go undefeated.
You can always go 9-0, probably something that we do expect out of you, but thank you, my friend. It was a pleasure to have you around
I,
here.
I, I don't know if I want to go 9-0. I think I prefer 8-1. I don't really want
Why?
to drop the first game of the top cut because of the undefeated curse in Swiss.
But maybe you go completely undefeated.
Ooh, yeah, that would be a story. I would love that too.
That
I
would be
will
a
see,
story
we'll
to be
see. Yeah,
remembered. Yes, we'll see. As I said, thank you for being around. It's always a pleasure to have you around and to see you play more tournaments, win more, and I hope to see you next
same here.
time. So for you
Yeah,
guys, that was it about the interview. As you know, Kata is always precise, always on point, always tells you exactly what's happening with the deck and with the cards. Thank you for watching, and until next time, see ya.